How do you help your teenager combat low self-esteem? Well, that's what we're talking about today on Tips on Teens. My name is Kent Toussaint. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I specialize in helping kids, teens, and families live happier lives. I lead two organizations, Teen Therapy Center and the nonprofit 501c3 organization, Child and Teen Counseling, both here in Woodland Hills, California. Every Wednesday at noon, I jump on Facebook Live to answer your parenting questions. And let's jump into today's. My 14-year-old son has really low self-esteem, and I just don't know what to do about it. He compares himself to others a lot, and I hear him say negative stuff about himself all the time. Also, it's really hard to get him to try new things. I'm guessing this is because of his lack of self-confidence. I try to be supportive and encouraging and say good things about him. I try to tell him and show him I love him too. It just feels like nothing's working, and I'm worried he's going to miss out on the best parts of being a teen. What can I do? Well, I think the good thing is you're probably already doing a lot already. You're trying to be supportive, you're trying to be loving, trying to share kindness with him, which is a huge, huge step. I think the biggest thing a parent can do to help a kid with their self-esteem is to share love. Not by saying what's good about the kid, but just by sharing that you enjoy being with them. You know, if you guys have weekly Saturday morning hikes, just sharing, you know what, I love being with you. I love being next to you. Even if you're not talking, I like being near you. You know, and sharing that with them. Even if, you know, there are times you don't like let's say your kid's kind of grumpy and this and that, but still you love your son or you love your daughter, whoever it may be, and focusing on that you love just being with them, even if they're going through this really tough time of low self-esteem, which is rampant among teenagers. We were teenagers once. We all struggled with low self-esteem in one way or another. Many of us may still struggle with this. And it's important that when we're teenagers, we find a way to deal with this. And I think one of the big ways to focus on it is a three-pronged approach, three things to focus on. It's having a sense of autonomy, having this kid have a sense of mastery, and a sense of purpose. So what are all these three things? Autonomy is the ability to, in a healthy way, in a developmentally reasonable way, to be able to make decisions for themselves. You know, have the ability to do what they want to do. You know, is your 14-year-old son able to have some independence and some choice in their world within reason? Mastery. Is there something that they can do that's intrinsically theirs? They don't have to be the best in the world. And that's where I think the big thing that a lot of kids struggle with is they feel like, well, if I do it, I've got to be the best. And that's not realistic because nobody is the best. There's always someone better. Whether it's painting or dancing or soccer or piano or theater or student body or whatever it may be, make sure they have a sense of something that they can do that is something that is theirs, that they practice and work at, and a sense of purpose. What gets them out of bed? What are they working for? What, you know, a lot of times all these things are interconnected, and it's tough to have all these as a 14-year-old, and I get that, but we want to start working towards that. When your kid starts talking negatively about themselves, the last thing I want you to do, even though you're going to be compelled to do this, is to contradict them. If your kid says, oh, I'm stupid, I'm not as good looking as this person, I'm not as good as that person, the last thing you should do is say, that's not true, you're just as good as them. Even though you may be right. It's not about you being right. It's about your kid feeling like you're not understanding, you're missing the point, and clearly you're clueless because you don't see what they see. Instead, validate their feelings. Hey, I hear you. I feel that you really feel down about yourself and you're feeling upset and frustrated. I get it. We've all felt that way, and we can communicate that. We don't have to go into details of how we felt that way unless they ask. But we all know how it feels to be down, to, you know, have our face in the dirt, metaphorically speaking. We've all picked ourselves back up. He just doesn't know how to do that because he hasn't really done it that much. And so I think it's more important that you sit there and listen, have the arm around the shoulder, and don't contradict. Keep acknowledging what you love about him. I think that's really important. Keep encouraging him to try new things, even though I'm sure that's scary. And also a big part of that is, and I don't know if this is an issue with this child, but get your kid off screens. I'm not saying all the time because I know that's not realistic, but have limited screens so there's room for other things. Screens diminish one's ability or one's focus on their ability to overcome and resilience, to try, because screens present a fictional world where everything comes easy and great and wonderful. All the heroes that we love about, they get magical powers and they become the greatest of all time very quickly. Social media, all these social media influencers present themselves as these amazing, wonderful lifestyles that anyone can have. But of course, it's all fantasy, it's all fiction. So it's really important that you have some regulation on screens and also talk about what they're seeing and what's influencing them. Anyways, it's a big topic. If you feel like that's not enough, you can always reach out, find a therapist for your kid, or group therapy. I know, like, I run a group for teenage boys called the Guys Group for high school boys struggling with self-esteem, needing more social support. It's a lot of fun. So find resources for your son if there's just not enough at home for him or at school. Again, my name is Kent Toussaint. I'm a licensed therapist. I lead Teen Therapy Center and Child and Teen Counseling. If you liked your question answered here on Tips on Teens, email us at tipsonteens@teentherapycenter.com. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next Wednesday, and have a good week. Bye-bye.